A broadcasting legend in his own mind. He's known to be prickly and very opinionated. It's time to get in the huddle with your host, Coach Muddle.
All right, happy football Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. Week 2, as we fire up and we get ready for some football action. Nevada Nick, how you doing?
Well, Coach needs a real fire. He's freezing his balls off over there. I woke up. My house was 63 degrees, man. I was freezing this morning.
I had the windows open and it got down into the upper 40s last night, so it was a little chilly. So
beautiful, brisk football weather.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'll tell you, it's been crazy. It's like when Labor Day hit, it's like it knew and switched right to fall. I mean, it's like we went right into fall weather, man. I mean, we haven't had any days much over like 71, 72. And like I said, it's been getting kind of into the 40s at night. Well, I love it, man.
Right. I agree. So we had some stuff. If you guys don't mind, before we get into everything, I want to touch on a little college football from yesterday.
Okay.
A couple of things that happened yesterday. I want to talk about. And I want to jump off first with Pittsburgh, Syracuse. Syracuse's quarterback, was battling cancer, beat it, and threw his first touchdown yesterday against Pittsburgh. So that's pretty good, pretty impressive. Good for him. Hope it keeps going. Hopefully Syracuse can turn it around. They start 0-2, so they got a tough road to hoe coming on. And I just feel like Pittsburgh and Clemson are going to be on a collision course here because they're playing. Pittsburgh looks pretty good.
Yeah, well, you're forgetting about Notre Dame though, too, Coach.
I'm sorry, I'm not giving any stock to Notre Dame until they play somebody.
Yeah, well, not to be. Pittsburgh hasn't really played anybody either.
Look, I've been watching Pittsburgh. They got eight returners on both sides of the football. So, and we can say that about Clemson too.
No, you're right.
Miami looked good. Miami looked good yesterday.
No, I will go with you on that. That quarterback looks really good, and I'm pissed at myself because I was going to bet Miami yesterday, but I didn't, and they covered. So, yeah.
All right.
Now, if you want, since we're on college football, real quick, you want to talk in Big Ten released their schedule yesterday.
Okay.
And so I'm a Penn State guy. Stizz went to Penn State. Now I don't love it, but it's spread. I mean, their schedule spreads out nice for Penn State, but they do have Ohio State week 2. So it's like, man, you're getting right into the fire. But if you catch Ohio State, you know what I mean? Maybe they're not prepared, and you catch them.
Now, my question is, did Justin Fields, did he opt out? Is he back in? I thought he was opting out, but now, so my question is, the kids that opted out in the Big Ten, are they allowed to come back?
No, see, that's the problem with Mekhi Parsons, because they're going to have to go through all this stuff because he signed with an agent. So I don't know if he got money or anything, but he did declare for the draft and sign for an agent. And Franklin's been talking with him to try to figure that out. So that's, if he got money or something, it's probably over, game, set, match.
Right.
Maybe because the circumstances, I would hope the NCAA would maybe give a waiver, but it's the NCAA. I mean, they're just, one of the worst run organizations, in my opinion, in sports. It's
Absolutely.
just, they're always a day late and $1 short. I mean, and the funny thing is, like, nobody's even talked about you. It just shows you how much they don't care. Pac-12, like, nothing. It's your crickets. Like, you'd think they'd say, oh, shit, now we got 4 conferences playing. What about us?
Right, and I did see that they're talking about starting back up as well. I did see that somewhere, but not a but other than that, it's been crickets, really.
Now, are they playing the same amount of games as they usually do, even though this is a later start, or no?
It's going to be nine weeks. So 9 straight weeks they're going to play. And then one thing that's going to be different too, the conference championship, they'll have the championship, and then all the other teams are going to play consolation games. So,
okay.
I don't know how it's going to work, whether it's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6 type thing,
Right.
yeah, I mean,
you know what? I think you know what they're going to do. There was talk that in the second place team in the East will play the second place team in the West, or however they do it. So you'll play each other how you're ranked in your conference, I guess.
Okay.
Right.
So instead of just ranking them, 1 through what is it? What do they got? 12 now, 1 through 12, and then so.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. But Penn State, I think they're number 7 ranked team in the country. So, maybe if Ohio State, you keep it close and that's your only loss, I mean, who knows? But the problem is, though, too, then you don't have the Big Ten. But now the Pac-12, they might be out of the question. Big 12 is always nuts. You know what I mean?
Right.
With Oklahoma and Texas, I could see one of them losing a game. So, like I said, I'd like to see Franklin crank into that playoff and get in there, because I think they should have been there that one year they beat Ohio State, but then they put Ohio State in anyway and won the Big Ten championship. But we will see what happens.
Absolutely. I think, it really tells you that those conference championships are just a money grab, because they don't mean anything. Because how many times Alabama lost the conference championship, I want to say twice, and still made it to the playoffs. You had Ohio State lost obviously to Penn State and still made it. So,
and I think that one year too, remember Alabama lost to LSU and then played them in the national championship and beat them. So LSU's got it really tough this year. I mean, they lost a lot of talent anyway. I wasn't really high on them. Kind of waiting to see when Georgia finally cracks through. They've been knocking on the door, and haven't been able to kick that door down. That Alabama block has always kind of been there, or
it's not Alabama, it's LSU. They've always kind of come up against one of those buzzsaws every year,
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you guys think it's going to be a little bit more wide open this year with people opting out, and or do you think it's going to be the same old teams, same big name teams?
I think it is. I don't see any reason for it to be different, because those big name teams, like you say, the Alabama, LSU, Clemson, they've all I want to say ahead of the curve in this whole Corona thing. They've been practicing. They've all been doing their thing, where other teams are, we're not practicing this week. We're not doing, so.
The one thing that's going to be different, though, is obviously the fans. I mean, that's one of the great things, is that college atmosphere, man.
Yeah.
You can say what you want, but that NFL, there's that corporate feel to it now. There really is. Whereas college, man, it's just hardcore. There's nothing like the college atmosphere at a football game. There really isn't, man. I got to go see Penn State, and I just hung out with the RV section during the game, and people were so cool. Come up, drink with us, handing me free booze and food. I was, come on, man, I love it.
You're in heaven. You're in heaven. Yeah, there you go. It's a white out.
That's why it's called Happy Valley.
So that's what's going to be different, obviously. I'm not exactly sure where the Penn State Ohio State game is. But if that was a Penn State home game, man, that's a whiteout game, and the atmosphere is crazy, and those players fuel off that. And that's the one thing that's really been hard in regards to handicapping these games, because there's no home field or home court. Basketball, I mean, who could have saw the Heat? I mean, nobody could have saw that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Nobody saw the Heat doing what they've done. And it's going to be a really different year. I mean, it's just you kind of got to get a feel for it now, like the NFL too, man. It's tough. A lot of injuries, because I don't think these guys were hitting. I mean, there's a ton of injuries.
Yeah, we'll talk about that, I'm sure, too.
Right.
Yeah, no, we will. You want to start first with Stizz, Coach?
What's up, Bilal?
And get into his fantasy stuff?
Let's get into the fantasy stuff first. And no disrespect, Stizz, but let's get it out of the way quick so we can
Yeah,
talk
I know.
football. You know what I'm saying? You know.
I'm just a spoke on the wheel here in the Coach Muddle show. You know what I mean? Just a spoke on the wheel. So listen, I'm going to go back to last week, my start and sits of the week, which I cashed in 2 for 2. My start of the week, if you'll remember, Josh Jacobs.
Yep.
He had 3 touchdowns last week, almost 100 yards, 93 yards rushing. Don't forget he sprinkled in 4 catches for 46 yards. He wants to get more involved in the receiving game. He said he wants to catch 60 balls this year. Well, he's on pace. I know it's only 1 game, but that's a good sign. Yeah. My sit of the week last week, I gave you Austin Hooper from the Cleveland Brownies, the shit steamers. 2 catches, 15 yards. Junk, terrible. And you're going against that Baltimore defense, you know what I mean? So that was my main plays last week. This week, start of the week, Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry in a run-first offense. He's an over 20 carry guy, which you're looking for in fantasy. You're looking for them guys that get the bulk of the action. And what does Tennessee do? They run the ball. Right. Look for him to get multiple touchdowns this week for sure. Jags have the 28th ranked run defense in the league. So just look, Derrick Henry, just like in the playoffs, Derrick Henry. A couple other starts I have here. I have Tampa Bay's D. You want to start them against Carolina. I have Jonathan Taylor stepping into the starting role versus Minnesota.
Right.
I have Amari Cooper versus Atlanta. Matter of fact, you could start any Dallas receiver. That game may be the best game on TV this Sunday. That's going to be a shootout. That's the highest total. That's the highest total on the board if I'm not wrong, right, Nevada?
No, you're right. It is, especially with Dallas's injuries on defense.
Sure. Also, quarterback Matt Ryan, same play. He's going to go off. Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Russell Gage, they're all going to have good games again. They all had 100-yard games last week. Yeah. And I'm gonna actually start Tyler Higbee versus the Eagles. I think he's going to have a good game this week. Not going to be a popular vote, but I just know what I
Eagles have bad linebacker play too. They have like 0 linebackers.
Sure.
So I think they're going to focus on Robert Woods, and that could be good for Higbee. You know what I mean? I agree with you.
Yeah, I think so too. So a couple sits of the week. I'm going with Melvin Gordon as my sit of the week. No Phillip Lindsay, remember. He's got turf toe. He might be out for a couple weeks. And don't forget what that Pittsburgh defense did to Saquon.
Yeah.
The coach's boy. Stuffed him for 6 yards.
And I was just going to ask you about Saquon. I know everybody in fantasy who had him is, going, shaking. Like, oh, my God. Like,
It's 1 week. You're going against the best defense in the league right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Look for Saquon.
What about this week? They're going against the Bears, who I think gave up a lot of points against the Detroit team that didn't have a lot of weapons.
Right.
You're absolutely right. I like Saquon to have a bounce back week this week for sure. I mean, he's still out there, in the flat. He's still catching the ball. He just couldn't get through that line.
And what about and just to stick with the Giants, sure. My boy Darius Slayton, who I've been hyping since last year, had another great, big game for the Giants Monday. So what about him?
I was on board with him. I was on board with Darius Slayton. I think he'll have another nice game today, as a matter of fact. He's going to be your top receiver by the end of the year. Everybody's talking Sterling Shepard. I don't know. This Darius Slayton's a special kid, man. He had a nice year last year. I'm staying with him. I'm going to follow him. Couple sits I got this week on the side. Dallas' defense versus Atlanta, because I think it's just going to be a high-scoring game. It's going to be a shootout. James Conner versus Denver. I want to see about this injury. He's got this ankle injury that I'm just not too sure of. They're hyping up Benny Snell. I want to hold expectations on James Conner. It's a shame. What a great running back. But he's injury prone. He gets hurt every year. So you just don't know what to do with him.
It's a great story too. A kid, obviously he had cancer at Pitt where he played college. He comes back from it, has a great career at Pitt, gets drafted by the Steelers, has a couple good seasons with him. I don't know how much the injury affected him, but he didn't look good. And then they brought Snell in, and Snell looks a little faster. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm hoping Connor can get back, and maybe I think that would be a good Thunder Lightning type. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Let Connor run
100%.
between the tackles and Snell be your speed guy, kind of.
Sure. There's no doubt about that. I'm sitting Deshaun Watson and Brandon Cooks in that game versus Baltimore. Baltimore's defense is still pretty good. Deshaun Watson doesn't really impress me. I know he's top maybe 5 on in the fantasy charts in ratings, but he just doesn't impress me. I don't know.
Yeah.
What about your boy Scotty Miller? We're getting it.
We were getting
that. See, Coach, this is what happens. You go to these cornhole tournaments. You not only beat these guys, you beat the piss out of these guys, but you also give them fantasy advice on the side. It's supposed to be a little hot cuss.
You think that's bad, Coach?
It is, man. You got to start charging, man. You
Yo,
got to start charging.
Kev's 10-year-old kid Shane beat me in cornhole, so that just shows you about my cornhole skills.
Listen,
No, listen. You know what I've done. You know what I've done. And Stizz, you get this. Get on your phone. It has a what is this thing called here? It's called a oh crap, where'd it go? A metrodome. A metrodome. You know what that is?
No.
Oh, it's one of these things. Can you hear? Oh, you can't hear it. Sorry. It goes tick, tick. It's like with the doctor's office. When you're sitting at the shrink, it goes back and forth, tick, tick, tick. I pull that out when people start talking to my wife and want free advice. I pull it out. Okay, I'm starting to bill. Starting to bill. 15-minute increments.
So
that's a great idea.
Stizz, I guess you want to get into your waiver wire pickups, or did you have a couple more sit-ems?
Well, no. I'm done with that. Actually, Noah Fant, I'm going to sit tight end Denver versus Pittsburgh this week as well.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
So
I just want to say this.
Right.
Evan Ingram sucks the sweat off a dead man's balls. That's how bad he played. He was wide open 7 times and couldn't catch a cold buck naked in Antarctica. That's how bad he was. Okay. So I don't know. I think that might be the weak spot of the defense for Pittsburgh is the tight end.
Yeah. You maybe
just keep that. That's just my take. Had Ingram been able to catch the football, you might have seen things. Yep, we got people walking in the background.
Just the Coach Muddle.
It is, man. In and out of the set,
The poor guy's already on the porch.
You never know what's going on, man.
Everybody's trying to get a cameo appearance on the Coach Muddle show.
Exactly. Everybody wants a cameo, man. Everybody's trying to get a cameo.
Now, plus, I think with the Broncos, too, I think, as you know, in a young quarterback, you're going to lean a lot sometimes on the tight end. So maybe – but, man, that Pittsburgh D, I really would lean from playing nobody against them. That's the best defense in football, man. And I know they're playing the Giants, but Giants' offense is much improved.
Yeah.
I think the line isn't great, but, Daniel Jones is good. I think, that's one thing I was down on was the receivers, but you can see it now. Slayton's good. Shepard had a good game. You got Saquon, so they have weapons. It's just line play.
I really think the line really not having that preseason really hurt them. They didn't have time to gel. You've got 3 new starters on that offensive line. Right. You got to remember that.
And then, Coach, can you put up what Kevin said? Because I want to ask Stizz about that. Wouldn't you like Jared Cook? He put I have Ingram. Jared Cook was hot last week. Wouldn't you like Cook this week, Stizz, with Michael Thomas being out?
Oh, yes. Big time. And you know what? He could have been my start of the week too, but, Derrick Henry, I think, overtakes him on that. I like to give, one big start of the week and one big sit of the week and then a couple caveats on the side. But, by far, Jared Cook had a monster game last week. And like you said, without Michael Thomas, as a matter of fact, I'm going to give you a couple more digs against Miami. Let me check that out, Bri.
Yeah.
Look for Taysom Hill this week. We talked about it a little bit Friday. Look for Taysom Hill to be sprinkled in maybe 10 to 13 plays. Look for some gadget plays out there. Yep. Look for him to drop back as quarterback and maybe, do a couple rushing, plays or whatever. because without Michael Thomas, they're going to have to kind of juggle it up a little bit.
Right.
And I think they will throw the tight end. Alvin Kamara is going to have a big day, I believe. So
yeah,
we'll see.
no. And then look, the Raiders defense struggled last week against the Panthers. And I can't wait to talk to Captain tomorrow because I don't know if you guys heard, but Derek Carr said Cindy Gruden. So as one of his audibles was Cindy. I got her Cindy Gruden. And they asked Gruden about it, and he said he didn't know. Now, I don't believe that Gruden wouldn't know an audible call. I think you'd agree with that, Coach.
Absolutely.
Not just that. Do you think it's a good idea if you're a quarterback like Derek Carr who going into this year, we don't know, is he the guy, is he not the guy? You're going to go use the audible as your coach's wife's name without him knowing? I don't know, especially your head coach. I don't think that would go over. So I think John Gruden's playing. I think he kind of knows, but I'm excited to talk to Captain about that. And then, Stizz, what do you got waiver wire wise?
So this is what you're going to want to do when you want to listen up right here. Kevin kind of spilled the beans a little bit, but you're going to go upstairs. You're going to get your track shoes on. You're going to run to that waiver wire. You're not going to walk briskly. You're going to run. You're going to pick up this kid, Scotty Miller. Scotty Miller's a little white wide receiver, Julian Edelman type,
right,
with Tom Brady in Tampa Bay. No Chris Godwin today, don't forget. Concussion protocol, he's ruled out. So you got Mike Evans with a hobbled hamstring, which isn't 100%. You got them 3 tight ends there. Look for this Scotty Miller. Scotty Miller had 5 catches for 73 yards last week. Good debut. Nobody ever probably even heard of him. Matter of fact, Kevin, when I gave him to him on Friday, he said, "Scotty who?" I said, "Don't worry about it. Just put him in. Your guys on your fantasy league are going to be like, wow, when he comes through this week." Also, Nyheim Hines, my second one. You want to get every bit of him if you can. Now, he's probably picked up by now. It's Sunday already. Yeah. But he jumped right into the second running back role. He's the pass catcher for Phillip Rivers now.
He had more carries than Jonathan Taylor did too, Stizz. I was kind of surprised about that.
He did. Now, don't forget, Marlon Mack got hurt last week, and, unfortunately, he's out for the season. He got hurt early. So Hines was your number 3 on the depth charts. Jonathan Taylor, the rookie, coming in as your number 2, and Marlon Mack is your number 1. Now, Taylor, as the rookie, steps in as your lead back with Nyheim Hines sprinkled in. Now, don't forget Phillip Rivers. What's he love? His pass-catching running backs.
Right.
A la Melvin Gordon, Austin Eckler.
Right.
Danny Woodhead. We went blank. Danny Woodhead from a few years ago, if you remember him. And don't forget Daniel Thomason. So I think Nyheim Hines is going to have a nice year this year. So if you can get him, he's out there on the waiver wires. Try to sneak him in if you can.
Okay. Yeah. No, I like Hines, and it's so different than it used to be, where just with all the information now, you could find guys out there. Like I know last year, I'm trying to Waller from Raiders. He had that big first week, and you got to jump, kind of jump on it and that's him right away. Also, right. It's quick, and a lot of leagues go by record. You know what I mean? So and place. So if you're the worst team, you get that first pick, and then obviously you go to the back of the line. So
right.
Yeah. So,
if you're in first place, you're getting that 10th waiver wire pick every week, and you're really not getting anybody. Which is, you're winning, so you can't complain about that. Sometimes you find guys that aren't paying attention, and maybe you get lucky and a couple guys aren't picking guys up.
Now, Stizz,
Stephon Diggs against Miami, Brian.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, Brian was bringing up. I like him. He's not on my top charts or whatever. I would start him against Miami. Buffalo should get ahead early. The problem is, I think they will get ahead early, and they're going to run the ball. I think they're going to sprinkle in, Zach Moss and Devin Singletary a lot late. So if he can get you, some nice yards and a touchdown early, then you're in good shape. But that's a good team to play him against.
Right. Now, I looked it up. He had 8 for 86 last week. Not bad. You know what I mean? It's it's a good fantasy week. 16 points. Who gets the first sack, Crosby or Farrell? I'm going to go with Crosby with the Raiders. But like I said, I think that's going to be an interesting game tomorrow. Finally, they put a good Monday night game on. I think that's going to be a good game tomorrow night, Saints and Raiders. It's a shame Michael Thomas is out. But that's one thing, man. It's throughout the league. It really is. There's a ton of injuries. I mean, like I'm big on the Niners today. You know, you can tell you this. I've been talking about it all week, and then I go this morning. D Ford's out, Sherman's on IR, Kittle's out, and I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me. Yeah. Cowboys, Tyron Smith's questionable. Lyle Collins is out. Vander Esch is out for 6 to 9 weeks. Sean Lee's out. They just put their starting corner on IR. I mean, it's just like all these things. And then we haven't even talked about my Eagles that are already all jacked up. But this week, you get Lane Johnson back. You get Miles Sanders back. Doug, I'm begging you. Yeah. Please run the ball. Please run the ball because they're putting too much pressure on Wentz to throw the ball and be Superman. And look, Wentz, he holds on to the ball too much. There's no doubt about that. He takes
Jalen Hurts.
Shut up, man.
Jalen Hurts.
Come on, man.
Jalen Hurts.
Get him, Coach. Coach.
It's going to be a tough game. I mean, let's not forget. We saw that pass rush last week, what they did to him, and now you got Aaron Donald coming in. So I'm not feeling exactly all warm and fuzzy. And the weakness of that line is the right guard. So I'm putting freaking Aaron Donald over that right guard, every play. And just Aaron Donald to me.
Wait, look, Ellis, you talk like Doug's been coaching for 20 years, man. I mean, come on. I mean, really?
Hey.
I mean, this is isn't even year 5 yet for Doug. This is year 5? Okay. Yeah. Woo, 4 in a row, home openers. Big whoop, man. That's nothing.
Coach, coming from the guy whose team hasn't made the playoff in 7 years, Coach. Take a seat.
It hasn't been. It's been no. We've been there sooner because remember, what's his name? We lost to the Packers. Remember they went on the boat trip. That wasn't 7 years ago. That was 4 years ago. 2016, bro. Remember the boat trip? We went to Green Bay. Then they went to Miami the Tuesday before the game. The Cleveland Steamer took all the receivers to Miami on their off day.
Oh yeah, you're right. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's right. Where they were on the. Yeah.
And then he dropped a wide open pass in the end zone on the opening drive, and it went to hell after that.
Coach, can you throw a couple of them comments up?
Yeah. So Chris Fusco, he said,
Chris Fusco's well. Yeah.
Would you start Melvin Gordon over Devin Singletary?
So, I'm going back to my sit of the week of Melvin Gordon against that Pittsburgh defense. I think I'm starting Singletary over him, even though, Zach Moss that'll be a little 1-2 punch. But I think, Buffalo will get up early in the game and they're going to run the ball a lot. I just don't trust Melvin Gordon this week.
Hey, Fusco, you want to get banned from the show?
He's right. He's just speaking the truth. You can't take it. But what are you, captain now, Coach? You're going to be throwing guys off the show?
That's right. We'll be throwing people off the show. That's right.
The truth hurts.
Well, because you ain't going over to YouTube and subscribe to the channel. You ain't like the page. We're fired. You're fired, man. Because what time is it? I'm sorry. What time is it? It's
10:28. And then also
it's 10:28, and the Eagles still suck. Okay.
Oh, it's one game, Coach. One game.
Doing that.
I know. So Kevin Steinmetz asked who do you start, Stafford at Green Bay or Cousins at Indy? It's a tough one.
So listen, I probably wouldn't start Kirk Cousins. Probably wouldn't start Kirk Cousins against Ellie the dog and whoever else.
Yeah, I was going to say I wouldn't start Kirk Cousins against a high school team.
Yeah. Now Kenny Galladay's out today again, unfortunately. Ooh. So Stafford's working, a little short-handed. But I got to think that may be a shootout too in Green Bay.
Plus, or if you get into a situation, Green Bay jumps up 14-0. Look at Matt Ryan last week. Seahawks jumped out to the lead. Matt Ryan's throwing to catch it. Sometimes that actually plays to your advantage. Because your team from behind, fantasy-wise, you don't care. You don't care about the outcome. You want your player to score points. So you saw it with Matt Ryan last week, where he had to throw the ball. I think he had over 400 yards passing and a bunch of touchdowns.
Yeah, absolutely right there.
All right, so Coach, you want to get in to talk about what we think? You want to talk about what we think for our team today, Coach, or what? What do you?
Yeah, go ahead. You could start with the Eagles.
All right. So I mean, I'm worried. I'm not gonna lie. I think this is a big game. Look, we got the Bengals coming in next week. And if you watch the Bengals on Thursday night, I don't think I'd pass the ball. I'd run the ball. The Browns ran the ball all over them. And, like I said I was worried about a backdoor cover. I didn't trust the Browns. They didn't cover. Now, I said I liked them in the tees. I took them in the tees. But, yeah, and you know what? Give it to Joe Burrow, though. That team, there's nothing around them. He's going to be good, man. You can see it. Yeah, he did. He threw the ball 60 times, but he did. He looked good. He made some throws, too, that you're putting him in one spot and one spot only to make the play, and he had a couple of them. So once they get guys around him and a line, he's going to be good. It's just, man, you can run the ball all over them. Hunt and Chubb both had big games.
Well, I think also when they fix that, because Mixon's not a bad running back. I mean, he's not bad. So you can fix that offensive line and take a little more pressure off of him. I think they'll be good, and obviously that defense is horrendous. So
So, but so with the Eagles today, look, if Miles Sanders can run the ball and they can establish the run, look, Lane Johnson's back this week. I think the line's going to be better. I'm hoping Doug calls a better game. I like the Eagles in a very close game. I like the Eagles. I'm going to say 20-17, 24-21 type game. That's what I see. I'm worried, though. I mean, I don't want to go 0-2. Like I said, it's a shame because you look at last week. If you get the win last week and you come in this week and, they can do the job, you'd have been going into the Bengals and you could have started 3-0. And I mean, as you know, when you – just like that year we won the Super Bowl.
Coulda, woulda.
I know. No, you're right. But we got out to that good start. And it feels like since we won the Super Bowl, we're constantly having these bad starts and got to rally at the end of the year. And it's just not the way to do it, man. It really isn't. So, but I do like them today. And I'm hoping, obviously, we get the W. But let's see. I mean, they got to protect Wentz. He's got to get rid of the ball. He's got to take what the offense gives him. I mean, the defense gives him too much. Is he looking for the big play down the field? Get Ertz more involved. Just changed my lineup to the Stizz is better. Fantasy football. Yeah, that's the smart thing to do.
You went opposite of everything you said, Stizz.
Now, hey, listen, Coach, who do you got with the Giants?
The Giants go into Chi-Town today, and, the Giants showed me a lot offensively. The defense played a lot better than I really thought they were going to play. And I think it's building blocks, baby steps to build on. And what I see when I watch the Bears play, they gave up a lot of points against a Lions team that really has nobody. Nobody's there. And, you made Mitch Trubisky look like he was an actual quarterback, So
in the fourth quarter.
I think the Giants put up 30 points today.
Wow.
I really do. And I think they win 31-24, 31-27, somewhere in that. I think they come up with a win today because I don't think the Giants defense is as bad as the Lions to give up that many points.
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest with you, I kind of like the Giants to win today too. I just think, Chicago got lucky last week. They get the W against Detroit.
Right.
I think Giants offense is going to score some points, and I just don't love that Bears offense. I know everybody's on, but Trubisky was horrible to the fourth quarter. Did he have a good fourth quarter? Yeah. And let's not forget that Detroit rookie running back, DeAndre Swift, had the winning touchdown in his hands and dropped it.
Right. But it should have never came to that, though. It should have never came to that. And the other thing I'm going to watch now is the rookie Thomas is another big pass rusher you're coming in to play against. And I'm going to use a captain's line. He's playing against 50 who? So we'll see how the rookie gets acclimated, because that's the difference. College, you're not seeing an all-pro week in and week out at the college level, but, at the NFL level, you're going to see an all-pro caliber guy week in and week out, especially at the defensive end position. So,
yeah. Now, what Kevin said too, that's something I'd like to see the Eagles do, and he mentioned that on Friday too about sprinkling in Jalen Hurts. I don't think it would hurt. No, I don't think I don't think, like Coach said, put him in the slot. I think Coach is nuts, and he's huffing while you see him going to thing. He's just huffing his computer desk spray or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I think it would help to use him in that Taysom Hill type role that the Saints do.
Yeah, I agree with that. Run a couple.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm surprised we didn't see any of that last week. You know, especially when you got from behind, you needed something to change the momentum, something to do something, and Doug just didn't do it.
Yeah, Doug blew that game last week, and Thomas is out for the Saints, Vicky. Yeah, he's been ruled out already, and I think they said Stizz. Didn't they say a couple of weeks for him with that high ankle sprain?
Yeah,
I don't think he can travel.
He said he was feeling fantastic the other day, and I said I can't just see it. A high ankle sprain. Maybe that's just all talk. Who knows? But yeah, as we see, he's rolled out. So
now you guys may think I'm nuts for this, but I will say this. Yeah, correct. No, but I think Michael Thomas being out is more effect on the Saints than Breeze being out last year. Because Breeze, you at least had a capable backup in Bridgewater. Michael Thomas is such a huge part of that offense. And for Drew Brees, I think it's actually, look, Bridgewater's still not there, but I think it's bigger having Thomas out than Breeze. Coach shaking his head. Well, I'm just, what do you think, Stizz? Am I wrong?
Coach doing it great. I actually agree with you. Yeah, he's a big piece of that. And like you said, Bridgewater is no Drew Brees, but he was able to manage the system. He was able to get the ball to Michael Thomas.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, though, Coach Payton is, they've had the top 5 offense for the last 10 years. It's a plug and play. Plug in a guy.
Yeah, but not with Michael Thomas, though.
And I really think it doesn't affect them as much. I mean, okay, defensive wise, I'm like, okay, I don't have to really shift my coverage because there's not a guy that scares me, but I still think that offense is going to produce points regardless of who's there.
Okay. Well, and plug and play. There you go. You plug and play Teddy Bridgewater last
right.
year. So
yeah, no, it's just, I mean, look, if Emmanuel Sanders can, he's not Michael Thomas, but if you can get a big game out of him, that was the problem last year. They didn't really have a number 2 receiver. They didn't.
Yeah.
Right. And Emmanuel Sanders, I think, you temper your expectations on him. I mean, he's okay. But I think it's going to be a lot of Kamar and a lot of Jared Cook today.
Yeah. No,
with some trickery, with Taysom Hill. You know what I mean?
I agree. They're going to play to that defense, too. That defense is really good. I mean, they look what they did to Brady last week. 2 interceptions, put some pressure on him. And look, there's been a lot. Look, people are killing Brady. I think it's way too soon. They were on the whole Arians thing. You got to give it time. I mean, these are all new guys, all new receivers. Stizz mentioned about Scotty Miller, but like him and Edelman had that chemistry for years. Same with Gronk. And that's one thing I'll say. Gronk does not look the same. He was a physical presence before, and he's a lot smaller and just doesn't have it. He was almost like that, like they would say about Gates, but almost could play like a basketball player just with his size and put his body in front of yours to catch the ball. And, what are you going to do to stop it, And he's just, I don't know. I didn't see it last week. Look, it's one game. But, I wonder what he's really going to do this year.
He's frail to me. I mean,
this year he does. He does. And I don't think, I think it's more of a security blanket for Tom than anything. But you got to remember, look, Belichick and Brady were together for so long where when they're during a timeout, they can go, hey, do you remember in 2008 when the Rams tried to do this defense against us and what we did? It doesn't have that now. It's right. There's not that where they've seen it all. They've been together so long. They've seen it all. So, but I think Brady brings a little bit of that to the table too with, but again, Arians is used to, calling it, being the man. And
well, I think what Stizz says is going to be true. I think he's going to end up leaning a lot on Scotty Miller, especially on third down. Those good route receivers, like he said, Edelman. Let's not forget about Welker. He likes those guys that are just quick on their feet, run those crisp routes, especially on third down.
Right.
Those crossing routes and the outs and just, guys that run, because Evans and Godwin are more your deep threat guys. I'm not saying they can't run short routes; they can, but still, I think he's going to lean on Scotty Miller a lot, especially on third down. And I agree with Stizz. I think you're going to see a lot of him getting those, 7 catches, 75 yards, maybe a TD here and there.
Sure.
I think you're going to see a lot of that, and he's going to make a lot of big third down catches for the Bucs. I mean, it's early; they're going to develop chemistry, and you could see it last week. He was looking for him.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think Scotty Miller dropped a big touchdown last week.
Okay. I didn't know that. Wow. I didn't know that.
He's going to fill in for Godwin. He's going to be your crossing guy, your sure passing guy. So, yeah, I think I agree with your assessment. I mean, 5, 6 catches, 70-some yards for sure, and hopefully to get a touchdown out of him. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. So, now, Coach, you want me to get into my picks? Or you know what? Stizz, you want to start? You do have a prop bet. You want to give that quick?
Hold on a minute.
All right.
Before you get into your prop bet, Stizz, hold on a second.
Right.
Okay.
Let him play his thing.
Deciding on pork and beans to making that money and dining with kings and queens? Listen to Nick's picks exclusively in the huddle with Coach Muddle.
Thought I'd go a little old school today.
That's an old school, Coach. I appreciate the old school now. I made my day with that one. Hit it, Nevada.
All right. So my picks. Look, I got a text from Coach at 4:00 last week. Oh, you shit the bed and going nuts. Look, it was a tough first week, but I regained with the Saints pick at 4. I had the Lightning, ended up going 3-4. Not how I want to start. But let's not forget going into that Sunday, Coach, I was 10-2 last week. He forgets that. But Coach, this is what
you're only as good as your last pick, buddy.
No, you're right. But now this is the guy. Come on, I had one game, the Super Bowl 2 years ago. I lose, and he's ready to fire my ass. I lost the Super Bowl.
That's right. Well,
then I go on
the
unprecedented run I went on. And Coach, he couldn't stop the train then. The Nevada Nick train was just going, baby, and everybody was jumping on board. Yeah. All right. So look, it's tough right now. I mean, it really is for gamblers, man. With the whole home field thing, all these injuries, it's just different. It's really hard. You're going to have to navigate a lot. Okay, so I'm going to start. I got 3 teasers. Okay, I got 3 tease bets, and they call them sucker bets. Well, guess what? Then I'm a sucker. All right? I like these teases. I'm going to go. I got a couple.
Remember this. Playing back the video tomorrow.
Yeah. All right, I got 3 games for you that are going to go straight thing. I like the Cowboys today at home against the Falcons. They're laying 3.5 right now. Buy the hook, take it to 3. So I like Cowboys -3. Then I'm going to tonight's game. Patriots, 64 or 65 straight games they've been a favorite. Tonight they are underdog for the first time. Think about that. 64 or 65 straight games in the regular season as a favorite. That's 4 seasons. It's unbelievable. So they're a dog. Their Seahawks are laying 3.5. Buy the hook there too. Take it down to 3 just in case it lands on 3. It's going to cost you too much money to get it to 2.5, but at least get it to 3 so you at least get the push. I like the Seahawks -3 tonight. I'm going with Russell Wilson. I trust Russell Wilson. I think a lot of people are jumping on the Patriots a little bit too early. Dolphins first week. Fitzpatrick threw some bad interceptions. Cam, he rushed pretty good, but he didn't really throw that well. So I like the Seahawks tonight -3. My last game, I'm going to go the Dolphins playing the Bills, laying 5.5. I like the Dolphins getting the points. I think it's too many points. It's an AFC East game. Stizz is looking at me like I'm nuts, but I like the Dolphins to lose the game, but cover the 5.5. What do you think? I'm nuts, Stizz? You got to give me that look like I'm crazy. Or maybe you can't even hear me.
No, you know what? When you said Dolphins 5.5, I thought you were giving the Dolphins out. My screen actually just kind of went blank for a second.
I did give the Dolphins out. I like the Dolphins today. I got Dolphins +5.5. Now, okay. I will get into my tease bets. So, the first tease is going to be Chiefs. They're 8.5. You take them down to 2.5 with the Ravens, who are 7.5, 7. So, you're going to get Chiefs -2.5, Ravens -1 or 1.5. I just feel like, look, you're taking 2 game teams that you can count on right now to just win the game. look, 8.5 points to 7.5 points. You look at Thursday night's game. You're up 12, 13, 14 late. The team comes down, gets a bullshit touchdown, and backdoors you. So I'm going to take Chiefs minus 2.5, Ravens minus 1.5. You got two of the best teams in the league to win the game. I like that. So once again, Chiefs minus 2.5, Ravens minus 1.5. Then I'm going to go to New York. I like the Niners today. You can get the Niners. They're at 7. Take them down to 1. I'm going to put them with the Bucks. Bucks are up to 8, but it's a lot of points, man. Panthers, you still got McCaffrey. I thought they were actually pretty impressive last week in Matt Rule's first game against the Raiders. So I'm going to take 49ers minus 1 with the Bucks minus 2. Bucks need a win here. You don't want to get to 0-2, man. That's when the pressure really starts getting on. Brady got some, talk. I think Brady's going to be very, very motivated this week to get a W, and get that first win with Tampa Bay. You don't want to have another week where you're 0-2 and all that media and all that pressure and that craziness. So once again, 49ers minus 1, Bucks minus 2. And then my last tease, man, Kyler Murray's really impressive. Stizz called him one of his guys. He's tough to defend. They were impressive against the 49ers. And I was more impressed, actually, with the Cardinals' defense, shutting down that 49ers offense. Sure. And look, Kyler Murray did the job against a very good 49ers defense. I mean, he's tough to guard. So I'm going to take Cardinals minus 1 in a tease, and I'm going to put them with the Saints on Monday night plus a half. So you got the Cardinals to beat the Redskins, by a point basically, and then the Saints plus a half. So that's my action for today, Coach.
All right. And again, I'm going to tell you again, you got to get him to me sooner so we can put him up on the screen. So
okay, that's why I repeated myself 10 times, So, all right, Coach.
Times. Get the papers.
That's right. Now, Stizz, you got a prop bet?
I do have a prop bet. I'm going Monday night with your Who Dat Nation New Orleans Saints playing the Raiders. I'm going Darren Waller to have a huge game Monday night. His over-under on receptions is 5.5. And you only have to lay minus 105. You have to lay $105 to win 100, basically an even up spread. So I'm going over 5.5 receptions for Darren Waller. I think he has a breakout game, maybe 8 catches, 9 catches. Henry Ruggs may be out on Monday night. I know he was questionable going in. I didn't see any other status. I don't know if you guys did or not, but he was hobbled last week. So if Henry Ruggs doesn't play, I think they're dependent on Darren Waller a lot more.
All right, what's up? Hey, look at Nick Vicolo, my buddy. Said Nevada Nick, my man. And Nick's a smart guy. If he's a gambler, he knows he's going to go bet Nevada Nick's picks. He's not like Coach.
Well, he can't be very smart if you're his guy.
Tell you, Coach, man, you got unbelievable. This guy. Want me to? I can rail off all the picks I've already given again. You want me to? Coach?
We know you can rail them all off. Okay.
Raptors 10-1 to win the championship.
But
Tiger Woods winning the Masters.
Wait a second. You can't go back and make any money. It's what you've done now.
Nationals winning the World Series. Chiefs at 7-1 to win the Super Bowl. Win. I go 3-4 1 week, which is you lost, but you're almost 500, and that's going 10-2. So for the week,
only counts
for the week,
and hand grenades.
Yeah. All right. Well, for the week, I was 13-6, and this guy's breaking my balls. It's the first week of the football. I'm just getting in. I'm seeing what I like, and it's a freaking pandemic. There's no fans. There's a lot of things you got to handicap here. Coach had 4 teams in the NHL and couldn't pick the 2 teams that made the finals. He was wrong on both. And then he's going to give me shit. The coach. Get out of here, Coach. You're nuts. He's been slipping the elbow.
Got their ass beat last night, by the way.
Who did?
Tampa Bay lost 4-1 last night.
And I had the Dallas Stars minus 1.5. I wish I could have given that out. I really did. My hand to God. So I just thought, Dallas.
Social media for Nick. You posted up. Hey, I like.
Yeah, that's true. I should have done that. Sorry, Coach.
Yeah, shoulda, coulda, woulda. It's good.
But Tampa Bay. I was surprised because they just won the series, I believe, on Thursday, and then it went right to the Saturday. So I thought Dallas was just going to have the fresh legs, and it looked like they did. I'll tell you though, Coach. I don't know, man. Dallas's goalie's playing really well. They may win this thing, man.
Yeah.
I'm still high on Tampa Bay. I think they'll bounce back good in game 2. But Dallas just you try to find those teams that are playing good, good hockey, whatever the sport is at that time. And right now, Dallas has just been really consistent. They toured through to Vegas, who was really good and was, Coach had Vegas Islanders in his freaking thing because he's a New York guy. He jumped on the Islanders train, even though he's a Rangers fan.
Well, no, I also jumped on because the coach came from Washington when they won the cup. Man, he took that team and that's why I jumped on. Okay?
Yeah, and Capitals actually just hired a new coach. They went with a former Flyers coach, Peter Laviolette. So,
all right,
but they should have never let Trotz walk out of the door. How many times do you see where you let a coach who's just won a championship walk out the door? I mean, it's not
those guys get paid for taking them to a championship,
right? And that's one of the crazy things with the Eagles. They're saying that Doug's on the hot seat. I'm like, the guy won a Super Bowl. We just won a Super Bowl, and they want to get
just won it. It was 2 years ago.
Well, it's just winning the Super Bowl. When's the last time you won a Super Bowl, Coach? 9 years.
Get him, Nick. Get him, Nick.
Yeah, he's nuts. He's lost his mind. Him and Captain with their Bo Jackson in the Hall of Fame shit the other night. The guy has 2,800 yards total in his career. Never had 1,000 yards rushing in a thing. If this, if that, is all. They're both nuts. You don't have 1,000 yard. Look, Bo Jackson was unbelievable, and it's a shame he got hurt. But you don't have 1,000 yard season. If that, I'm not going to say because I don't want to. They know the analogy I said.
Maybe that Dewey Beach air getting the coach.
What are the odds of
beautiful salt air out today, man? It's great, man. I got some pregame apps getting ready to cook up before we.
Look, Flavor Flav over here. What is?
I just want to get my funky fresh medallion out, Kev.
Right now, hey man,
I'm gonna wear this to bed tonight, actually.
So Stizz is
we're gonna see. Guy dies because he strangled himself with his plastic throat.
So
hey, Coach, either that, or I actually got this chain off of something from Cowtown years ago, and I hooked it onto this trophy. I said, Jesus Christ, my neck's probably going to turn green, and it's probably going to break out in something.
Yeah, you're going to definitely break out in something.
Yeah. So Stizz has won the last 2 weeks. I'll tell you the big thing is who your partner are. It's usually the most consistent, where you have two good partners. Last week, Stizz got picked somebody good. You got to know his partners. But right now, Stizz is, he's back-to-back champ. So I'm going to go he's 2-1 favorite right now. Yeah, he's 2-1 favorite.
You may have to give that out as one of your picks next week, Nick. As me as the cornhole champ again.
Just give me some time. Stizz has got about 25 weeks on me right now. Nevada Nick's just getting the arm going. In about 3 months, I'll be warmed up.
In about 3 months. After the season's over, he'll be warmed up, right?
He'll be
I'm talking about for cornhole, Coach.
I know. The season will be over, whatever,
He'll be thrown in the snow, wiping the boards off in the snow. You know what I mean, Coach?
I will, man. Trust me, I'll get it going. I'll get it going, man.
Hey, listen, as long as you have me on your team, that's all you need.
Yeah, maybe that's what I got to do.
Call me, as a matter of fact, they call me the John Rocker of cornhole, the closer.
The closer to John Rocker. That's great. The closer.
Unbelievable. All right, we're going to let everybody go so they can get their bets in and fix their fantasy teams before kickoff. And I got to get my pregame snacks going, so we're gonna cut it out. I appreciate everybody jumping in. Don't forget, go over to Facebook, subscribe to the page, and if you missed this, tell your friends. Go to Google, Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to podcasts. You can re-listen to it anytime. We appreciate it. So we'll see everybody tomorrow. Captain Jack will be back, and so take care and good luck. Go Giants.
Thanks, guys.
Go Giants.
Giants.
Giants suck.